Hi, and welcome back to my channel. This video is going to focus on the most important skill you need to acquire in order to succeed in this new AI economy. And I'm not talking about coding or anything complicated like this. This is more of a personality skill or an approach to your professional career that you can deploy across any particular concentration or specialty that you choose. I'm going to use a video from about 2 years ago with a woman named Julie Sweet. Now, Julie Sweet is the CEO, Chief Executive Officer of a company called Accenture. If you've never heard of Accenture, they're the world's largest, and if they're not the largest, they're certainly one of maybe the top three largest technology consulting firms in the world. The company's called Accenture, as I mentioned, and just full disclosure, I worked for Accenture a lot of years ago, a couple decades ago. So I have no interest in promoting this. There's no conflict here of me showing you this video. When I was working for Accenture, they were more of a traditional management consulting firm. They've transitioned into a technology consulting firm over the succeeding decades, probably because I left, and have done extremely well in the marketplace. So just real quickly, by way of introductions, my name is Steve Murphy. I'm a vice president at ARG, and while I work for ARG, this video is my own and does not reflect the views or opinions of my employer. This channel is dedicated to helping individuals and small businesses understand the opportunity that AI presents and how to excel in this new AI economy. So we're going to hear directly from Ms. Sweet on what Accenture values when they are looking at hiring a new candidate for their firm.
Employees and a lot of interesting approaches to talent development. So we're going to talk about that and other things today. So Julie, welcome to the new world of work.
Great. Thanks for having me, Adi. I'm excited to be here.
Great. So let's jump right in. You have something like 700,000 employees at Accenture. So I'd love to hear about how you're thinking about winning the war for talent. And, let's start with hiring. What does it take to win the hiring wars these days?
Well, that's a great question. And I think hiring is the right place to start. When we think about talent, we actually think about how do you access talent? So how do you hire it? How do you become a creator of talent so that you don't always have to hire it? And then once they're here, how do you unlock the potential of talent? And when you think about hiring, we've actually added to our workforce in the tightest labor market in history, at least our history, 200,000 people in the last 18 months. And we've done so over that time. We've had 4.6 million resumes. And so we use what's called a high-tech enabled high-touch recruiting model. So we use
So I want to pause right there and point out something if you haven't done the quick math in your head. So Accenture, and again, this video was shot 2 years ago. So over the period of, say, 2000 to 2022, a full 2-year period, let's just say Accenture hired 250,000 people. They roughly increased their workforce or their labor force by 50% in those 2 years. They reviewed or received and processed over 5 million or close to 5 million resumes during that time period and hired about 250,000 people. So your chance of being hired at Accenture is about 5%. So what is the top, we're going to get to this in a moment, but what is the top skill that they look for that those 5% of the people had to have in order to get through the Accenture recruiting process? Let's continue.
Use technology to help us match the resumes with our needs. And our needs are really broad. For example, we have nurses and MDs, as well as, deep security professionals, as well as cloud professionals and people who do supply chain. So it's really, really broad talent that we seek. And so we do so starting with, this high-tech enabled, high-touch recruiting model, which is kind of the how we do it. And of course, the reason people come is, all about what we offer our future employees.
So I have a lot of follow-ups there, and there's a lot to unpack there. So A few places we could go. And I guess one is the question about skills. And as you said, you have different types of jobs that require different types of skills. But I have a feeling that that both in what you're looking for or the algorithms you've created, there's some general skills or general attributes that people need these days. Can you talk about what you think those might be?
Okay, so it took a little while to get to. I cut out a few pieces that, quite honestly, weren't relevant, just to kind of skip ahead. This is what you need to pay attention to right now.
Let's just start with one of the most important things that we look for, actually, no matter who you are, is your ability to learning agility, because we know that while we may hire you for a certain set of skills, the rate of change in the need for skills is quite rapid. So there's lots of research on this, that skills that were around in the Fortune 500, for example, in 2017, that approximately 40% are no longer relevant. And so as we think about our own business.
Okay, so in listening to this video, I'm not certain that 40% of the skills that were necessary in the Fortune 500 in the year 2017 are now irrelevant. I think if I can, and that might be a little bit of hyperbole on Ms. Sweet's part, but I think if I can reinterpret that, is what she's saying is that 40% of the skills in the Fortune 500 in 2017 are going away. Not that everyone with those skills is no longer with the Fortune 500, but they are going away. They are becoming less and less relevant every year. And if you are reliant on your expertise within one of those skills, your job is at risk and you need to adapt. So let's figure out how Accenture views people and their adaptability.
Business, we start with learning agility, and we ask a very simple question to all of our applicants, senior and junior. Those who are coming from school, we ask it slightly differently because they're in school. So what we'll say is, what have you learned in the last 6 months that was not part of school, is what we add for those who are recruiting on campus. And what we're looking for are individuals who naturally learn things. Now, the answer could be, I learned to cook. Right? The answer could be, I learned how to change a tire. The point is, can the applicant respond to that question? It's a really simple but very effective way of understanding whether you're hiring someone who likes to learn. And actually, one of our leadership essentials for all of our leaders is to lead with excellence, confidence, and humility. And the humility, we find, as a leadership quality, is what allows people to be natural learners and to build great teams. And so they're really connected when we think about the kinds of people and kinds of.
All right. So I think that's all I'm going to go through. I'll put the link to this full video. It's very actually interesting, very informative, but for this purpose, I think that's enough. What I want to reemphasize is that Accenture, the leading technology consulting firm in the world, looks for people who want to learn. And that is the skill that will propel you in Accenture and in your organization or your small business going forward. And I know everyone has limited time and limited energy. But I've also heard another stat that says if you spend 10 minutes a day for a year studying something, you will be more informed on that particular topic than 95% of the population. Only 5% of the population will be more informed on that particular element than you will be. So it's just another piece of evidence that being a learner, being a lifelong learner, is going to be required in this new economy. I've used this forever. When I got jobs that, quite honestly, I wasn't qualified for, I didn't know how to do, I learned it. And I learned it outside of normal working hours, because inside of normal working hours, you got to be doing your job, right? If you show up at a new job and spend 4 or 5 hours a day reading a textbook on how to do that job, people are going to question whether or not they made the right decision in hiring you. But if you spend a couple of hours an evening reading up on that job or that role, watching YouTube videos today that are available and helping you scale up to the level that they expect, within a couple weeks, you can be competent. Within a few months, you can be good. Within a year, you can be expert. And so I would encourage everyone, as you start to evaluate your future in this new AI economy, how much are you learning on a regular basis? You're watching YouTube videos right now. So I think that's sort of a self-selection indicator that you're already a learner. Now, what do you learn? Well, hopefully this channel will help you figure out what's important to your career and what's important to your small business to help you scale. Thanks very much for watching. If you got some value out of this video, I'd appreciate a like. That helps me and the algorithms. And if you want to return to this channel in the future, the best way of doing that is hitting that subscribe button. That'll allow you to come back here at your convenience. Thanks very much for watching, and I hope you have a great day.